Alright, so A Complete Unknown, aka the Bob Dylan biopic. Now this movie was actually fairly enjoyable, which is pretty refreshing because most movies I've seen in theaters of late were either disappointing or not all that entertaining to me personally, and the last movie that I really enjoyed watching in theaters was Furiosa, so I'm very happy to walk out of a theater and remember it as a mostly positive experience. Not to say that this movie was amazing or anything, this movie definitely has its fair share of issues, but I'll continue being positive and talk about the things I liked about this movie first. For one, Timothée Chalamet did a great job with his performance. There was a lot of mannerisms that he was able to emulate and pick up on throughout the film. A lot of things to how he walked to his voice was very well done, and it really felt like he truly tried and gave it his all. And overall, his performance was very believable. Now, speaking of the character writing, it was very clear that the movie cared a lot about its main character and it did a lot to show a lot of his personality and mannerisms. I really like the fact that this movie built up a certain mystery and uncertainty around his backstory. It really makes it feel more genuine to the character. Another detail that I really liked is that there are certain scenes where he comes off as a bit of a jerk, and it really does a good job of making this feel truly genuine. It also really allowed to showcase his personality. Now, the pacing and journey throughout this movie was pretty well done. I never found myself bored or disinterested in what was happening in the movie, and it felt like it justified its 2-hour long runtime. Now, a few criticisms of this movie would be the fact that the story structure felt like it could have used some work, especially when it came to the ending. The ending of this movie just felt like it came out of nowhere, and all the emotions and ideas and build-up that I was trying to convey in the last ending felt kind of forced and unnatural. Like, they only started trying to build up to the conflict near the end of the movie in the scene or two before it, and it didn't really feel like a really natural progression to that point. There were also a few points in character conflicts where Timothée Chalamet's character would basically get into a fight with another character, and it kind of felt unnatural at certain points, like they were trying to force drama into the scene. Like, hey, we kind of need this to happen, it's on the list, so we have to force it in there. It's not too terrible, but it definitely happens more than once, and it kind of leaves you thinking, like, hey, why did that happen? And another part with this movie is that there are certain parts where it felt kind of as a mess and unfocused as much as it should have been. Again, it doesn't detract from the overall pacing experience, and I was definitely engaged with it. It just felt a little bit messy when it came to that, if that makes sense. Now, to me personally, the singing did a very good job of tuning in to make it feel like it came from Timothée Chalamet, but also feeling like it maintained its original source material. I do really appreciate that, and it certainly feels more believable that way. And the film was overall competently shot and well directed. Nothing amazing in that category, but I am giving credit where credit is due. Now, overall, I definitely enjoyed this movie, don't get me wrong, and I'll probably rewatch it at some point. And for now, this one gets a good 6 out of 10.